Hi, welcome to Life Skills with Louie. I am Louie, and today we are talking about prayer. If you haven't watched the introduction to the Improve the Moment skills, where prayer is a skill within that, I encourage you to do so. And if you haven't watched the introduction to the entire Connecting to Calm series, it will be helpful to do that to understand why and when to use these skills. Finally, if you haven't watched the introduction to the entire series, please do that so you understand all 5 sections and when to use each section of skills. To talk about prayer, this skill is a particularly powerful one. They're all powerful in their own way. I guess I have a little favoritism toward it. The first thing to get right off the bat when we're talking about prayer is it is totally understandable that many people have a lot of associations that are negative when it comes to prayer. If you've been negatively impacted by religion, that's a strong reason people are questioning about prayer and how it fits into religious practices. When we're talking about prayer here, we're talking in a non-denominational, spiritual, broad sense. Prayer is an act of opening to something bigger. And ultimately, when done well, it's a very humbling and empowering action. Our minds can very easily become focused into thinking we're very separate and disconnected from the rest of the world and very alone. And prayer has the ability to open to something bigger. What you pray to is possibly vast. There's so many things one could pray to. Perhaps God is something that feels good for you to pray to. You could pray to any sort of spiritual focus that works for you. You can also pray to your own intuition, just something deeper within you, or to a value or idea. But you're appealing to something bigger. And I encourage you to explore prayer more. There's a lot you can read online about it, as well as you think about different ways to pray. And really, this can be an exploration to find what works for you, always, as usual, listening to your own intuition as the key compass. Some thoughts about prayer. Different things that can happen with prayer. One can ask for what you need, and the more open you are, the more effective it may be. You can simply have a conversation or talk to something larger, vent in a way. If you are speaking to or giving out, I also encourage you to attempt to listen, to become quiet afterwards and listen and see if you receive any kind of response. So please think about this skill, give it a shot. There's a lot of research showing that it is helpful. You can pray for yourself, you can pray for others, which also generates a very loving feeling many times. And as we end this practice for today, what I'd like to do is do a practice of prayer in silence together. And this video will simply end with that silence so you can continue praying for as long as you like.